How the narcissist was slowly breaking the relationship. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the narcissist had you in their clutches. They had you in their jaws. You were placed in a existence called the narcissistic fog. You were being tricked and trapped and groomed. You couldn't come up and get your air. You were being repressed. You were being disrespected. You were being treated less than. You were being taken for granted. And the narcissist kept on pressing on that gas pedal of abuse more and more and more. And the narcissist knew that that relationship one day would expire. They knew that one day that relationship would end. Truth be told, once the narcissist met you and they figured out who you were and they learned all about you, that's when they began to set their sights on you. But it wasn't just you. There were other people they were grooming, other people they were vetting, other people they were placing on the sidelines until your relationship expired. Now, throughout the relationship you were in, you experienced what I call micro discards, which is essentially death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's when you were giving, you were committed, you were an open book, you were empathetic, you were in love or loving, you were considerate, you were kind, you were compassionate, and you were trying to help out another person who was intentionally, deliberately, and on purpose trying to destroy your life. Now, that's a very bitter pill to swallow, but it's real. You see, you weren't taught this in school. How could you know that another person who looked like you, talked like you, and walked like you could be an abuser? They could be a manipulator. They could be a person who wears a mask and tries to lure people into their web of abuse. You didn't know that. Now you're realizing it. So going back to the micro discards, this is what the narcissist has been doing since time began. Slowly testing people, slowly pushing people, slowly taking things away from people, slowly blaming people, slowly becoming more and more unavailable to the person they're abusing. Remember, when you're in the narcissistic abusive cycle and you're trapped and you don't have the wisdom, you don't know that there is a way out. You don't know that a person's abusing you. You don't know that this person is doing it on purpose. You don't know that this person is unfixable, and you don't know that that relationship is headed to a place called Destructionsville, which means everything, and I mean everything, will eventually blow up on you, on the narcissist, and on that relationship. But going back to the micro discards one more time, think about it. When you would be going to work, maybe you were being driven to work by the narcissist because you couldn't drive. Well, maybe they gave you the silent treatment 3 out of 5 days in the week when you're going to work. Is that a good way to start off your day? No, it's not. How about this? Maybe you picked up the narcissist from work. You were supposed to pick them up at 5 o'clock, let's say Monday through Friday, and you did that for a while, and slowly they weren't available at 5. Sometimes they would tell you, oh, no, wait, I have another client. I have to be here till 6:45. You would already be there because, of course, they didn't give you a heads up, and now you have 2 options. One, go back home, waste your time, and there goes an hour and 45 minutes of your life, but it's actually a lot more than that. Or you wait for them, and most times you would probably wait for them, and what happens now? Now you have to figure out dinner. Now you have to figure out why they didn't tell you. Now you have to sit in the car and really be frustrated with yourself because, again, they gave you a micro discard. You see, they were showing you that how little they cared about you. They were showing you that they were taking you for granted. Think about how many times all it took was the narcissist. This is way back when you were in the relationship. How many times all it took for them was to pick up one phone call or send you one text and tell you something, anything. Hey, pick up this loaf of bread. Hey, if you could put up gas in the car, that'd be great. Or how about this one, which you never heard? I picked up dinner. I picked up groceries. I filled the gas tank. I did the laundry. You probably didn't hear any of those things because when you're with the narcissist, all you hear is me, 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 I. And you are being blamed for everything. In the narcissistic relationship, there's no such thing as we. It's I, and you did this, you did that, you should have done this, you should have done that. There's a huge division in the relationship, and it started early on. You just couldn't see it. I couldn't see it either. Again, the micro discards were not few and far between. They were littered all throughout that relationship. And the example of death by 1,000 paper cuts, that's an example that somebody came up with eons ago. It's more like death by 1 billion paper cuts because every single day you were experiencing some form of a micro discard. But this is why the narcissist does what they do. This is why they were slowly trying to break the relationship, because they were seeing how much more gas you had in the tank. They were seeing how much more you would make excuses for them. They were seeing if you would continue to turn a blind eye, continue to make excuses for them, continue to do things for them because you were committed to them, continue to tolerate the abuse. Think about this one, when you would come home. When you would come home, what would happen? Well, when you would come home, many times you would be holding your breath. You would hear a car come in the carport and you'd be like, oh, wow, all right. Home a little early, or usually home late. And what would happen? Well, you'd probably have to unload the car. You'd have to act like you were busy. You couldn't be relaxing. You'd probably turn the TV off, and you would be acting like you were very busy or doing something. Because if you were sitting on the couch just decompressing or just being, that's not going to cut it with the narcissist. The narcissist needs to control you. They need to burn up your energy. They need you to be doing things for them. So again, when the car would pull in the carport, you would probably be scrambling all over the house, acting like you were doing dishes or preparing dinner or sweeping or taking laundry out of the laundry, or putting it in, or straightening up magazines or whatever you were doing, but you couldn't just be. And that is not a healthy way to be living your life, but the narcissist knew that. Now flip it. Let's say that you were on the couch, just chilling, taking it easy. That car pulled into the carport. Well, when the narcissist opened the front door, now they, in their tiny little brain, would have any reason at all to be punishing you for you being you. Right there's your micro discard right there. So when you're in these relationships, you're walking on eggshells, you're holding your breath, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that shoe always drops. You just never know when it's gonna drop. That's why, picture, if you will, you'll go to a casino and you put a dollar bill or whatever it is these days in a slot machine, and you hit the button. Well, you're hoping to get cherry, 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 or jackpot, jackpot, jackpot. You never really get that, do you? No, you don't. What you get is lemon, plum, and car with flat tire. Every once in a while, you would get something like bar, bar, bar. And you'd be like, whoa, okay, I won a little bit of, I won $2 or whatever it was. Well, see, that's the narcissistic relationship in a nutshell. You never know what you're going to get. And they know this, which is why you experienced so much toxicity in the relationship. Way back when, you didn't know what gaslighting was. You didn't know what triangulation was. You didn't know what mirroring was or projection. You didn't know what the silent treatment was. You didn't know what a thing that called financial abuse was. You had no idea. They knew that you didn't know that. Did they know what the definitions for the terms of their behavior was? Possibly, probably not. In this day and age, they absolutely do know. Why? Because I create videos each and every day and educate people, and the narcissists, they need to stay ahead of people like me. But guess what? They can't any longer, because I'm here and you're here, and I've broken the spell, I've broken the trauma bond, and I've healed, and I understand what the narcissist did, how they did it, why they did it, and why they're stuck in that loop where I was stuck for years. That's why you need to get your cup full. That's why you need to understand that you are stronger than you know. And you need to understand also that the narcissist was trying to destroy that relationship over and over and over again. They were trying to break the relationship. Think about a weekend, any average weekend, when you were with the narcissist. Maybe you made plans, not big plans, not little plans, but just say you want to have a weekend getaway. You're going to go to a different town or a different state or somewhere. Well, it's not a huge thing. It's not a small thing. It's in the middle. And you would gas up the car and get the hotel and the Airbnb and have the plans, and you'd pack up all the food, or you'd be ready to go. Well, what would they be doing? Maybe at the last minute they would cancel. Maybe they would claim they were sick. Maybe they would claim that their best friend needs them. Maybe they would do it, but they said they didn't want to do it. Maybe they would act like they did want to do it, and as soon as they got there, they would say they had to go back home because their sister needs help. Maybe they would get there, and as soon as they got there, you would unpack everything, and they would disappear, go down to the lobby and maybe have a cocktail, or maybe walk around the property and act like they didn't know you, taking their wedding ring off and acting like they're single. Who knows what they would do, but when you had those weekend getaways with them, if you did, it didn't go swimmingly. There was no togetherness. There was no we. It was you were the chauffeur. You were the person who was paying for the hotel. You were the person who was paying for the food and cooking or putting it together. You were the person who had to get the right hotel room. You were the person who had to make sure that the narcissist had 2 cubes of ice in their drink rather than 3. You were the person who would have to hold your breath at breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the downstairs food area or restaurant while they were triangulating you with the waitstaff, with other people, with complete strangers, and anybody who would look at them or give them the time of day. But then again, you didn't know what triangulation was. See, you couldn't be yourself. And that was another way the narcissist was trying to break the relationship. Let's go back in time one more time for this video. When you were in the relationship, the narcissist was doing their best to isolate you. Now, why do you think they would try to isolate somebody? The reason they would try to isolate somebody is because they want to feed off of them, and they want to be the person who feeds off of them exclusively. The narcissist doesn't want to share. They need somebody, a host, if you will, because the narcissist is a parasite. They need someone to be there for them so they could take tiny little bites of that person over and over and over again until there's nothing left of the person. And yeah, I can say that because I lived it for years. It's not a good feeling. It's a horrible feeling opening your front door to your house when you come home, let's say on a Thursday, and you open the front door and there is the narcissist about 1.5 feet away, maybe even closer, with somebody who is half your age, and they are the alleged trainer. And these two are laughing it up and joking and arms around each other, and you open the front door and you're looking like, what is going on here? I don't even know who this person is. Why are you in my house? Why are you so close to this person? I don't get it. And then what happens? You keep walking in, and are you introduced to the trainer? Yeah, you're told, yeah, this is an old friend of mine. Wink, wink. Old friend of mine, a trainer who is half your age. And the person you're considering is laughing it up and way too comfortable and way too close with them. And then what happens? Once you're introduced, they act like you don't exist. You're not even there. They carrying it on, laughing it up, and talking about whatever they're talking about, probably what they just did before you got home, and probably what they will do tomorrow night, which is Friday night when you're stuck at work or whatever. But see, this is why the narcissist continues to overplay their hand. This is why the narcissist continues to break relationships. The narcissist isn't loyal to one person. They weren't loyal to you. They're not loyal to the person they're cheating with. They're not loyal to the person they're cheating on. They're not loyal to their kids. They're definitely not loyal to colleagues or business associates. They're not loyal to anybody. They don't care. The sooner you wrap your head around that, the better off you will be. And I'll say it again. The narcissist isn't loyal to anybody. You may think that they were loyal to you. They weren't. You may think that they loved you. They didn't. You may think that the new supply is living their best life with the narcissist on all the money or whatever the narcissist took from you. Well, the second part would be true because the narcissist probably took your money and more. Not trying to upset you or trigger you, it happened to me. But the new supply is not living a life of puppies and rainbows and unicorns and snickerdoodles. We already talked about who the new supply is. They're either a recycled source, they're a clean slate, or they're a toxic person, just like the person you're considering. But any way you cut it, the narcissist will continue to fracture and to break relationships over and over and over again. That's what they did before they met you. That's what they did with you. And that's what they're doing right now, wherever they are on the planet. You need to understand something. With you, if you were in a stable or loving or healthy two-way relationship, and I'm not talking about with the narcissist, I'm talking about if you were, or two people are in a loving, stable, healthy relationship. You have two people that are committed, two people that are transparent, two people that are giving without expectation, two people that are not keeping score, two people that want the best for the other person, two people that know that another person will be there and have their back when they have hard times or they have a health concern or something goes sideways in their life. That is not what the narcissist does. The narcissist wants to take, and take. And when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, they want to take more. And the narcissist cup will never be full. I use that expression on this channel. I've used it for almost 5 years. Keep your cup full. Get your cup full. Make sure your cup full is full of you and abundance and growth and empathy and kindness and love. The narcissist needs to keep their cup full with what is known as supply. You were a supply source to that person, whether you know it or not. So was I. We are not supply. We are beautiful, bright, shining lights. And the narcissist did their best to extinguish us and to steal everything out from underneath us, to hope that we would never heal, to hope that we would never see behind the mask, and to hope that we would never put ourselves back together, because that's what virtually everybody had done before the narcissist met you, which means they didn't heal, they didn't figure out what narcissism was, and they didn't put themselves back together. But this is why you're a different person. This is why you're a different breed. This is why you are stronger than you know. And this is why you need to continue to stay on the path. No matter how dark it seems at times, you need to continue to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You need to recognize that it wasn't just you that was taken advantage of. I was too. There are billions with a B, billions of us over the history of humanity. Thing is, most people never figured it out. They never figured out that they were in a relationship that was going nowhere but spiraling downward. They didn't realize that they were with a person who had a huge bottomless pit within them that could never be filled. They didn't realize that they were with a person who was jealous and envious of them and who did not want them to exist. They didn't realize they were with a person who was stealing their identity, stealing their hopes, stealing their dreams, their aspirations, their goals, their purpose, their future, their health, their hobbies, their relationships, their time. These people never figured it out, and that's their journey. Way back when we didn't have the internet, we didn't have smartphones, all that. I get all that. But today, in this date and time, and you know what day it is and what year it is, you need to really wrap your head around what I'm mentioning to you. The narcissist tried to break that relationship thousands of times. They were always testing you. Every single time they tried to break that relationship you were a part of, you would do one thing, and this is a fact. You would always make an excuse for them, apologize to them, ask them why they did it, try to patch things up, maybe stand up for yourself a little bit, but if you did, you would be punished for that. But you, just like I did, you wanted to stay in that relationship when you were in it. You didn't know where you were. You didn't realize you were being abused. And that is what the trauma bond is. That's what the narcissistic abusive cycle is. When you put all of your eggs in one basket, which the narcissist is gladly collecting everybody's eggs, what do? Well, they begin to slowly tap on the egg, try to break it. See what I'm saying? You have an egg, they're trying to break it. Eventually, they crack it wide open. Boom. That's what they tried their best to do with me, and I'm sure that's what they try to do with you. But it wasn't just your egg they had in the basket. They had dozens, if not hundreds of other eggs in the baskets. Remember, the narcissist feeds off of people. Some people are in their life for a minute, 10 minutes, an hour, 2, 3. Some are in their life for a day, a week, a month, a year, longer. But nobody goes unscathed. Nobody will be immune to the wrath of the narcissist. So when you realize that the narcissist will continue to break relationships and they try to break yours over and over again, and when you realize that the more they were trying to break your relationship with you, they were trying to actually break you. And the more you stood up for, the more you made excuses for the narcissist, the more they said, oh, okay, well, he or she's not getting it yet. I'll push them a little further and see what they do this time. You see, the narcissist is always playing with fire. They're always playing with other people's lives, and they don't care. What they want to do is destroy people. And you were never supposed to figure this out, but you did. And now that you did, you need to wrap your head around the fact that going no contact is the path. Blocking the narcissist is instrumental. Deleting them and all flying monkeys is imperative. Really focusing on yourself for this part of the journey, this part of your life is what you must do. It's what I've done. It's why I create videos each and every day, no matter where I am, no matter what time of day it is, no matter what time zone it is, or what country or location I'm in. I will always pay it forward because at one point, I was the new supply. At one point, I didn't know that I was being abused. At one point, I didn't even know what gaslighting was. But now I do. And now my hope is, unfortunately, you do too. So you need to apply the tools that are provided for you with each and every video I create, and from all the fantastic and insightful comments from all over the world. You see, everybody at one point was the new supply. Everybody's relationship was being broken and fractured. Every single one of our relationships. Now flip it again one more time before I close the video. If you were with a healthy, stable person, A, you're not here in the video, you're not here in the community. B, you wouldn't be craving the wisdom. C, you would probably still be with that person. And D, that person would have had your back. None of that happened. What happened was you were in a relationship that was going nowhere fast. The person you're considering knew that. The person you're considering kept on trying to keep you strung around or strung along longer and longer and longer so they could take more of your time, energy, health, money, mindset, purpose, and everything else. Eventually, something broke, something gave, and yes, something snapped. That's when it finally ended. And your relationship, just like mine, ended when it was supposed to end. And it didn't end 1 minute sooner or 1 minute later. Remember, this is the healing path. The healing path is not linear. It will take time. It will take a lot of time, but in your time you will heal if you utilize the tools that are provided for you with each and every video. And you must also remember that, yeah, you didn't know back then what you know now, but now that you do, you really, really need to go no contact and focus on yourself, because the narcissist was going to push you and push you and push you because they flat out didn't care about you, and they knew that you were powerful. They knew that you were stronger than even you knew, and they knew if they could extinguish you, You get it? That it would make them feel better and it would give them fuel to abuse the next person, because that's what they had done in the past. They couldn't do it with you. You're too strong. You're too wise. You've become awakened and aware, educated and empowered. And now you understand that, yeah, the narcissist was breaking the relationship over and over and over again. And it didn't matter what you did, you could never save an unfixable relationship. You could never fix an unsavable relationship. You could never, ever put the toothpaste back in the tube or put the genie back in the bottle. Once you wrapped your head around what narcissism was, that's when everything changed for you. Yeah, this person showed you who they were. Yeah, truth be told, they showed you who they were early on too. But you didn't have the insight, you didn't have the intuitiveness, you didn't have the wisdom, you didn't have the experience, you didn't have the education, just like myself. And the narcissist knew all of this, which is why they could take advantage of you until when? It's right, until they couldn't. That's why you need to understand that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And there is no room in your life today or going forward for toxicity, specifically at the hands of the narcissist. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This is a very nice spot I'm in. I will not be here tomorrow. I will be coming back, though, over the years. It is very peaceful. It is extremely quiet. It is very calm and serene. I love this spot. So I just want to share with you. I'll be going back to my normal spots beginning soon, but this is a good spot. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Just want to share with you. The narcissist was trying their best to break the relationship over and over and over again. They were pushing your buttons, testing you, seeing how much you would do, how committed you were, knowing that you were getting burnt out. They were watching you run around on that hamster wheel of abuse, knowing that eventually something would break, because this is what these people do. You need to remember one thing. The narcissist doesn't care about you. They don't care about the new supply. They don't care about anybody. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.